Great. I wanted to take a couple short minutes just to show you how to properly format your paper into APA format. So right here, I've got my normal paper all pulled up. This is in regular MLA format. Everything's all set the way we would normally do this if we were writing a paper, but we want to do it in APA format. So we're going to need to make a couple of tweaks. You'll notice that in large part, APA is really similar with a couple just minor things that are kind of part of the focus that APA has. APA is entirely focused on science and research. So the reason why that it has these differences is because that's how they're going to do a better job of conveying the important things about research. Who did the research, what it's basically focused on, what the conclusions are, and when was it done. This example page is taken from the Purdue OWL, the Online Writing Lab through Purdue University. It has quite a bit of information about how to format any kind of paper. So there's a few things we need to do. First of all, we need what's called a running head. This is going to be the title of our paper that is in the top upper right corner with the page number in the upper right as well. So in order to do that, I'm going to switch back over to my paper. I want to take the title of my paper. I'm going to copy it. I want to go to Insert, Header and Page Number. I want a page number, and I want it to be in that upper right corner for the page number. So what this is going to do is it's going to go ahead and put in the upper corner the page number that I want it to have. Next, I'm going to put my title in there. Unlike the page number itself, which is going to be all the way to the side, I want the title to be over here on the left. So now you can see I've got that set up. This needs to be in all capital letters whenever you have it in your running head. So I'm going to go to my formatting tools, and I want to change this to be all caps. On the very first page, I want to have running head and a colon so that we know what this is. In order to make sure that this running head part only appears on the first page, I'm going to select a different first page header and footer. I'm going to put this in on every other page. I want to get rid of that running head description so that it's just the actual page numbers for all the other pages. Now, if you take a look, you can see I have running head here on the first page, and on every other page, I have just that title and the page number. The second thing that I need to do is go ahead and fix my formatting for a title page. So in order to do this, all the info that I need to include is this same information that we put at the top of the page normally in MLA format. Take a look at our example. You can see there's a title page that has the title of the article itself, followed by the name of the author, and then the name of the institution. So your institution is Batavia High School. So I'll show you what that would look like in an example here. I want to move everything else onto the next page. I can do that by pressing Control Enter, and that starts a whole new page. And then I want to include my title, up here. I want it to be centered, which fortunately it is. If it wasn't, I could go ahead and center it. Underneath that title, I want to put my name as the author. And then unlike the formatting that we use in MLA, we now need the name of the institution that this is from. So in our example, it would be Batavia High School. And then if we check ourselves against the example, you can see that we now have all of the details that are listed on here. An author's note is only necessary if you're writing something that's more research-based, that's going to show up in different locations. So if we take a look again at our example, we can see the next thing that most APA formatted papers include is an abstract. Because it's focused on research, an abstract is a description of the findings that the paper includes. It's the part where you basically get to talk about your paper. You're not required to do an abstract because your paper is not really a research type paper in the same way that most APA cited papers would be. You're not doing independent research. You don't have really any new findings. You're just using what other people have written to justify your point. So this isn't something that you have to include. However, if you want to go ahead and try it on, just, see what it would be like to write an actual abstract, then you can. All you would need to do is start a new page, put abstract at the top, and then you would type your abstract in here. Your abstract is 150 to 200 words, and it describes the findings of your paper. However, for the most part, most of us aren't going to need that. We're just going to have our regular paper that we go straight into. We can take a look. Our formatting is already starting to look like this example paper. We need to have the title centered. We have the title centered in our example. We need to have the paper itself with a indent and then the rest of it justified, which we already have if we take a look at our example. If we didn't have these things, just to make sure that we have the proper format, just like MLA, APA requires that you set everything in 12-point font, Times New Roman, and double spaced. So in order to do that, I'm going to select everything. I can just drag and drop, or what would be easier if I press Control A, it will automatically select everything I have in my paper. I can go up here and I can set everything to Times New Roman for the font. No, not trebuchet. I can make sure everything's set in 12-point font, and then I can make sure it's all set to double space. When you set the spacing, make sure to check and make sure that there's no extra space before or after paragraphs. Sometimes this number will be like 16 or something like that, and then you'll get weird things where you have extra gaps between the paragraphs. We don't want that to happen. After that, the only other thing that's related to our APA formatting that we still need to make sure we have, at the very end, again, we want to do Control Enter to start a new page, and then we just want to make sure that we include our references in proper APA format. They would go just in a list like this, where we have our author and their initial, date, the title of the page that we're referencing. So this might be a style guide or something similar. The title of the website, which we want to include in italics because it's a larger item. And then retrieved from, and our URL. So that's the basics of how we do the actual formatting of APA for our overall paper. If yours doesn't look like this, then a few tweaks that you need to make. Go ahead, go in and make those changes, include your running head, have that title page. You're not required to have an abstract, but then you do need to go into your paper itself with the title at the top and go ahead and include your reference page at the end. If you have any questions, let me know.